G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is the 15th of the 1st, 2018, and the time here is 08:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well folks, I thought I'd actually do a video where you could actually put a face to the name type of a thing. It's not something I want to do all the time. I'm not going to do all the time. The reason I'm doing it is because I thought it was time just to branch out, reach out and touch a few people, and as I said, put a face to the name. Look, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because just to tell you who I am really. I'm a 53-year-old father of 5. I live in Queensland in Australia, and the main reason I'm doing all this is because I've become sick and tired of the elites just bleaching us dry of everything: morals, ethics, standards, money, taxes, you name it, folks. We are now we've gone past the tipping point actually a long time ago, and we all should have stood up many moons ago and said, well, look, this is not right. The big reason I'm doing this is, and I'm guessing it's the same for all of you out there, somewhere along the line you become enlightened and you're thinking to yourself, well, this shit isn't right. And it's not really about me. I guess that's why I'm making this particular video. I'm doing this for my kids and my grandkids, because we just simply can't let this shit go on anymore. It's as simple as that. These people are just living in a parallel universe to us, it would appear, on our own earth. And that's one of the biggest things that worries me. And the fact that they just don't seem to give a shit about any of us, that is the real reason. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about our kids. They don't care about your grandkids. They don't care about anyone except themselves and their greed. The greed is the big thing here, folks. And their power trip. Have a look at our politicians, for example, these days. Does it ever cross anyone's mind that we actually elect them and they work for us, or they're supposed to? Does anyone ever remember that? And you see them on TV, they give you blasé answers, they blah, 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 all that sort of crap. And like I said, I'm just over it. I'm over the corruption in the police forces. I'm over the corruption in the government. It's enough. I've had enough. And I think a lot of other people have had enough as well. The Freedom of Information request that I was doing, I've actually found out that I have to do it per department. So far, what I've actually done is actually sent it to the Finance Department of the Australian Government, Department of Finance. I sent that sometime last week, and I haven't heard back from anybody as yet. Ooh, there's a big surprise. So I am going to keep on chasing it. I'm not going to let it go. I will keep on doing so. I'm currently chasing up Michael Smith of the who's also doing the same work, and he's been doing a lot longer than me. So I'm going to try and get him in for or on YouTube for an interview to share with Australians. I've had lots of people sending me stuff about QAnon. Guys, if you haven't realised, it's become a phenomenon, and I am not personally. You can send me the information and I'll read it, but I'm not going to chase it. And the reason I say that is because there's so much of it. I'm a little bit worried that if this is a person in the security services for Trump, or in Trump's government, then I'm a little bit concerned that he just seems to now, what was a drip is now kind of like someone's turned the tap on and it's pouring out water. You know, it just doesn't ring to me. Some of the stuff seems real, you know, very real. And if Q gets to watch this video, send me something so I know. You know, I've got no qualms. My main issue here is the Clinton Foundation and the nearly $500 million that the Australian government gave to them illegally. $500 million, folks, almost. Do you know how many schools, road projects, infrastructure, housing for poor people, looking after veterans? You know how much good that money could have done? And it's done nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's criminal. We all know it's criminal. And it's an absolute farce. Absolute farce. Please don't forget my Patreon page. As I said, I'm 53 years old. I'm actually disability retired. Unfortunately, I have a neuropathic pain disease, which is why I haven't posted in the last couple of days, because of the illness grabbed hold of me and I couldn't literally get out of bed for a couple of days. So that wasn't great. It comes and goes, but you know, I haven't got a job anymore, and I'm not splashed with cash, as you probably imagine. So the Patreon page is basically to ask for help, because I think we all know London to a brick. These guys are not going to just hand over the information to me. That's not going to happen that way. So there needs to be a coordinated attack. I've actually read the Australian Constitution over the last couple of weeks, or last week, and I figured out something that I don't think a lot of other people have figured out, that I may be able to use to my advantage. I'm not going to obviously tell you what that is, but if I get the negative response from the Department of Finance that I'm actually betting on, I am going to go to a whole new level with that information. I'll just leave it at that. There's a particular person in the Australian government spectrum who actually has to help. Put it that way. If you read the Australian Constitution, you'll know who I'm talking about. The one big thing that I wanted to mention moving forward, from here forward, is, as I said, this is about the kids, my kids' future, my grandkids' future, and how we've run out of time, really, to now. We can't go back. Let's put it that way. There's no turning back anymore. You can't live a lie. And I'm sick of living a lie. I'm sick of watching the corruption, as I said. So basically, we're doing this for the kids, which is going to be the title of this video, doing it for the kids. If you're doing this for any other reason, I think you know, for some self-gratification perhaps. But I'm personally doing this for the kids. And I don't care whose kids it is, mine, yours, anybody's. We are now going to leave them an absolute diabolical mess. What's coming in the next couple of weeks, by the sounds of it, is reality. You know, reality for a lot of us that is just going to be, even to the people who know, like myself, and you know, if you're watching this, the reality is that it's going to blow people off their feet. You know, I understand what Trump's doing in a funny sort of a way, because could you imagine what would happen is if he just went and just dropped the bombshell on everybody? Well, first of all, the first reaction is that well, you know, you're not going to believe it for a start. And that's where the mainstream media and the corruption cartels will come into play, because they'll say, well, this man's crazy. This man is absolutely crazy. This is not true. You can't believe this crap. You know, show me the evidence, sort of thing. And you could even put it in front of people's faces, they would still not believe you. And this is where what happens in America is going to affect us here in Australia, or, you know, and literally around the world. And I'm hoping by the end of this video, you do get some tangible cognitive theory on that. Because, look, whatever happens in America is going to have a dramatic impact on our lives here. For example, we don't believe you, Trump. They take to the streets, there starts being gunfights, and they call martial law. Do you think that's not going to have an effect on Australia and around the world? Just think logically here. In the next couple of weeks and months, when this all starts slowly coming out, people are literally going to go bare teeth crazy and they're going to want to shoot people, they're going to want to kill themselves more than anything. It's just not going to be reality. So their reality, or the paradigm that they've been living in for the last 30, 40 years or 50 years, like myself, is just one big fat lie. And can you imagine what's going to happen? There's just going to be an almighty shit fight in the whole world. Now, if Trump does this properly, which is just drips feeds people and starts up the daisy chain, just slowly indicting people, arresting people, arresting people, you know, and leaves it up to the people in the daisy chain to release more information. Because don't forget, he can't release any information, but the only information he can repeat or get out is through QAnon and the internet media, Alex Jones, etc. Because the mainstream media does not want to know until such times as, and think about this, until such times as the American government takes over the mainstream media. Because it can't happen any other way, folks. They are literally going to have to shut it down to fix it. And as any of you know, if they shut it down, then the only way they can fix it is by releasing the information via mainstream media themselves. That's a little bit of a worry, but that's where this is going, because you know, you'd have to be blind Freddy or deaf Freddy not to believe that CNN and NBC, you know, they're all in this together. I wouldn't mind betting that those conversations have been had. You know, we're giving you 1 month as of today to change, or we're going to do it for you. I would believe there'd be timescales bantered around about all this. And don't forget, Hillary Clinton runs out of being indicted. I think it's on the 4th of February. So time is short. You need to make sure that you have spare items of food, clothing, jerry cans full of fuel. I'm being dead serious here, folks. This is how serious this is going to get. Excuse me. A little bit of cash around just in case the bank's shut down. I watched another thing on Greg Hunter today, an FBI, former FBI or CIA director, or sorry, he wasn't that high up, but he was a very high up intelligence officer. And he made no bones about it. He said, when this does come out, it's going to be all on sort of thing. Because this is, you know, especially the paedophilia is worldwide, and the satanic ritual stuff, which just blows my mind. Because can you imagine our Australian politicians? It blows your mind, doesn't it? And I believe in this stuff, but I'm still struggling with that whole concept that these people are that evil. It just seems bizarre, you know. Like, I just try to think to myself, well, how? Why? Well, why? And then how? You know, it's like, how did these people get to this, you know? And how long has it been going on? And as I said to you, I'm living a 50-year lie at the moment. How do you tell your kids, your mum and dad, everyone? Look, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I have no idea how to fix that. If your parents are anything like my parents, well, you'd probably think that very soon their mindset is the war mindset type of thing from that generation, and they tend to take things, hard news, pretty well. But even then, you know, this is a little bit even higher than that. You know, my old man's 81, and I tried to speak to him about it. He said, well, mate, when it happens, it happens. And to be honest with you, everything will go back to normal, which is probably not a bad way to say it, really. Once this all happens, everything will go back to normal. Take a while, but everyone will set in place things, constitutions, etc., laws, to make sure that this never ever happens again. I just want you to focus on something though. On the weekend, somebody sent out a message to the people in Hawaii that there was a ballistic missile on its way. And there's been some conjecture in the media as regards to how that happened. Folks, I hope that all of you that are watching this have some concept of the actual practice and theory behind releasing a ballistic missile is on its way, i.e. DEFCON 1 sort of thing. That has to go up a whole chain of people for that to happen. You don't just get old Billy Bob, Sergeant Major in the Air Force, going to work one day and decides, tell you what, I'm just going to set off the alarm. That doesn't happen, folks. Do you understand how many people in the chain it has to go through, written and formal, by the way, to get to the point where you have to send a message? So either two things happen. One, they were hacked and it was done outside of their parameter, computer parameter, and their care, which is a big worry. Or two, it was pre-planned and done by the military officers and the cabal. Just think about what I just said then. It was done by the military officers and the cabal inside the American government. Pentagon, by the way. Because, like I said, Billy Bob just doesn't come to work as a sergeant and walk through and get down in his desk and just press a button and go, there you go. Let's see where that goes. It's not Twitter, folks. It's not Google and it's not Twitter. They don't just push a button and go, well, let's just send out a ICBM message to everyone and tell them that they're all going to get blown up in 15 minutes and see how that goes. And let's blame Trump. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, what I'm actually trying to say to you is that for that to have happened, it means that the US Pentagon and, as you know, a lot of people in the government are massively corrupt and massively devoid of any human feelings, etc. Why? Because they're satanic, obviously. But all of us, and I mean the whole world, should take that one incident, sit back and go, holy shit, these guys are actually at the highest level of the US government. Because as I said, there would have been a lot of, you don't just sit down in 5 minutes and decide you're going to do that, by the way. That takes a lot of planning, So let that kind of sink in, that this is real. This is dead set real. All right, we'll leave it there. As I said, I just wanted to come on and so you guys could put a name to a face. So this is me. This is what I do. This is what I'm going to continue to do for our generation, not so much for our generation, but for the generations coming up, the millennials, etc. Because let's be honest, folks, they're too lazy to get off their asses anyway. They believe everything they're told. There's no doubt in any of their minds about, well, the whole world's great. As I said, folks, this is my Patreon page. Please help and donate if you can. I've also got a PayPal account at Prep Aussie. My email address, prepaussie@gmail.com. All money is greatly appreciated because the fight is going to go on, and I'm not going to give up, like I said. Here's today's scripture verse from Bible Gateway. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we for him, that he who loveth God, love his brother also. Brother there means, not just your physical brother, but other men, as in peace, love and peace. I hope everyone understands that. And as always, folks, I'm going to finish with the Lord's Prayer, which, as I say every time, was solely needed. So say it with me if you can. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. That's all from me, folks. Until the next video, prep out.